Hi everyone, it's Joanne here from Everyday Alignment, and today we've got a video that's all about how you improve a relationship with someone from this point forward, because you really can do this from an energy perspective. Now, the type of relationship I'm talking about today is, maybe a relationship with a co-worker, maybe somebody who's in the same friendship circle, but you've got a bit of a strained relationship. You may feel that the person's a bit rude or offish or disrespectful. Those sorts of relationships that you feel that you can't escape, that you feel that you can't choose because they're kind of in the same circles as you, or they're part of your day-to-day working life. But we actually get what we focus on, okay? So in all areas of our life, we get what we focus on. It could be, money, relationships, family, our home. Everything is based on, how we've created our reality based on our thoughts and feelings. But this is really good news for us, because we know that we are energetic beings and that we do create our reality. Then we can totally create how we interact with other people, and we can totally create the behavior that we receive from other people, all based on our energy. And the only thing we need to focus on is how we change that so that we attract something different from this individual. Okay. Now, sometimes when it comes to other people and people that we don't get on so well, it can feel like a kind of groundhog day, almost like every time we're in that person's company, we get this same thing from them. It might be that they're overly negative or disrespectful or rude, all the things that I've just spoke about, really. And it's almost like we feel that the harder we try and the harder we kind of try to turn this around, the more this person seems to be like that. But when you actually stop to think about it, you are attracting that from your energy. Because I can bet if there's somebody that you have to be around with a lot and somebody that you're concerned enough about to think about, then I can bet anything that you are pre-paving conversations with this person, you're pre-paving interactions with this person before you're even in their company. Because we often do this, we do this with people we're friendly with, we do it more with people that we don't get on with. And what do I mean by that? Well, it could be that if you're due to be in a meeting with that person, or let's say that you've got a work situation that you need to be in and you're a little bit anxious about that person being there. Could be that you've got to go out and socialise in a group, and you know that this person's going to be there and it's going to feel a little bit strained. Once we get that feeling, that is what we then focus on. The anxiety starts to build, and then we start thinking about this person. We start thinking about all the negative things that could happen. All these thoughts start swirling around our head about what they're going to say, how strange it's going to be, how you don't even want to go to this meeting, or you don't want to go to this social setting or whatever. And something that hasn't even happened yet has already been pre-paved in your mind. You've already thought about it so much that you've decided that is the outcome when you see that person. And funnily enough, we do it more with those situations, don't we? The situations that we could really do with not doing it. And it just makes such a big difference, because there are two things that we focus on when we're thinking about the interactions with that person that we're not getting on with so well. One is expectation. So once we formed an opinion of someone, and it's kind of quite deep rooted because we've kind of witnessed certain behaviour about them, then we've got an expectation around that person. Maybe that we expect them to be negative, we expect them to be rude, we expect them to be disrespectful. Okay, we expect it to feel strained when we're around them. We've built that reality, we've built that expectation in our mind, and it could be the other person has done the same, but we're not talking about what they need to do, because we can only change things within ourselves. The other thing is, we also make a lot of assumptions about the other person, and this could be assumptions that they're going to be a certain way. And many of these assumptions can come from other people. So it may be that someone else has spoken about this person. They've said what they're like. They've actually given their opinion on the person based on their reality and what they're attracting from them. And we've just taken it on board, So let's say it's a work colleague that someone's moaned about. You actually will start looking for those things in that person, if that makes sense. So you might not have even noticed it before, but because someone has sort of commented about, you know, situations when they're really negative or how bullshit they are in meetings or whatever, you suddenly start to notice that when you didn't notice it before. So you've made an assumption about someone based on how someone else has spoken about them, and you've taken that on board, and you've taken that as the reality that you will see. So our relationships in our life are a mirror. So what we're thinking, what we're feeling, we will be experiencing. And do you know what? We can get a completely different thing from every different person in our life based on this, you know. Our minds are so powerful. We've built up such a kind of matrix of relationships, and we can think totally differently about every single person we interact with. But the way that we see it is we think that that's just the way that person is. We don't think of it as actually that's the energy that we're attracting from that person, because I don't know if you've heard the saying that everybody is you pushed out. So the way that you are, that's what you're going to get a reflection of back in other people. So the way you are to me, you know, reflects back, you know, how I'm going to be to you. And, you know, that's the same with absolutely everybody and all of our interactions, okay? So the way we need to change this is to start changing our expectations and our assumptions around this person. And this is something that you can do right now. So what I would say is, like, get a pen and paper, and, you know, I always find it useful to do two lists. You know, I do it with so many things. And I always do a list which is kind of what I've been thinking and feeling about a certain person, and make this a list that you can kind of shred or safely burn or just get rid of and destroy, because I don't like the energy of keeping lists that feel negative. But it's good to get out everything that you feel about this person, and sometimes it can help to try this exercise on someone that you haven't got a huge emotional charge with. You know, someone that you can kind of experiment with, and you can sort of improve their relationship a little. But, you know, if you want to go for it with somebody that you've, you know, kind of got a strained relationship with, then please do. So write down, first of all the expectations that you currently have about this person. So this is everything about what you expect them to act like, what you expect them to say, what you expect them to behave like, what you expect them to do when you're around them. Just get it all down. Doesn't matter if it's negative to begin with, just get that all down, just get it out. Then underneath that, also make a list of the assumptions that you have around that person and the way that they've acted. And think about, is this assumptions that other people have given to you? And again, just jot them all down. So if you assume that they're going to be negative every time you speak to them, if you assume that they're going to always talk over you in a meeting, if you assume that they're always going to put you down in a social circle, just put it all down, okay? Just get it all down there on paper. Now you can either take 2 columns on the one piece of paper, or you can just take a fresh bit of paper and then just look at everything you've written down under expectations, and I just want you to flip that over to something that feels good, okay? So going from that person's always a bit rude to me to that person's now my best friend might feel like too big a jump, and it might be something that you don't even want. You know, if you're looking at improving a relationship with a work colleague or someone that's in a social circle, you may not want to be their best friend, that doesn't matter. But you may just want it to be a pleasant experience, okay? So that person's always negative towards me might turn into something like, you know, that person's always pleasant and respectful in my company, okay? Something that feels nice and neutral, but it feels like you're respected and you feel valued. Something like, you know, that person's always putting me down. You can turn it around to something that says, I always feel supported in that person's company. You know, they're respectful of me. And do the same with every single line that you've rewritten down, even if it kind of repeats it. Just take every line, flip it, and turn it around into something that's positive. Now what you're going to want to do is just get rid of that old list. So just shred it, burn it safely, screw it up, throw it away, whatever you want to do, okay? Or you can get a whiteboard and just, you know, wipe that negative list away, because that's even easier. And from now on, this is how you need to start thinking about this person. So you need to decide that from this point forward, you're going to have a clean slate. And a clean slate means a clean slate. So you've almost got to pretend that you're meeting this person again for the first time, that you know nothing about them, and that these are your expectations and your assumptions around that person, okay? And yes, it takes a bit of conscious effort to do this. Yes, it means that you might not be talking about this person to other people in the way that you were before. But I can tell you it feels so good to do this from an energy perspective, okay? You can't control what the other person does, but you can change your energy around this relationship. And, you know, just make a note of reading your new list of expectations and assumptions about this person, and just read it daily until you can start to see the physical manifestation of your new energy around this person. Okay, and you may feel like you have setbacks. It may be that you start pre-paving again and start thinking negatively about that person, but just pull yourself back, bring yourself back to that list, and just maintain your new expectations, your new assumptions around that person. And it won't be long before you start seeing that come back to you, because everybody is a mirror of what's inside you. Everybody is you pushed out, okay? So you're only going to see what you expect to see from other people. You're only going to see what you assume you're going to see from other people. So expectations and assumptions that we have around people are just so key to this. So make that conscious choice to turn it around. And, you know, if this really helps you and it helps you improve one of your relationships, and I'd really love to hear from you. So just put some comments below. And if you've got any questions or comments, or you'd like me to make a video on something else around relationships that you're kind of finding a little bit challenging at the moment, then please do leave me a comment as well, because it'd be lovely to hear from you. Okay, so until the next video, you take very good care of yourself. Bye.